Hello, this is Anita LaRaia. I've written 3 new poems for Valentine's Day 2015. The first one, called Jeweled Butterfly, is a tribute to my dear departed husband Michael. 3 angel children sang Michael rowed the boat ashore, hallelujah, when his health began to fail and he had to trim his sails, hallelujah. Himself a Cape Cod boatman, he was flown to heaven by the spirit of the World War II pilot who had lived next door. The vision seen by our new neighbor at the moment Michael crossed over. 1 a.m., God's the great I am hour. He marched on Washington with Martin Luther King Jr., watched Jimi Hendrix at Woodstock, played chess and baseball like a champ, spun jazz as a radio DJ in Boston, and managed thousands of programming change requests at work. But his greatest achievements were giving back the boat he inherited to save a family, and the gentleness with which he massaged his mother's feet and manicured her nails as she lay for years with MS in a nursing home. All races wanted to claim him as their own. His birth certificate and smooth red skin said he was Native American, Wampanoag, the Thanksgiving Indians. But his blue eyes and blonde hair were likely from the Irish great-grandmother whose forebears descended from the famous ship Mayflower. AAO, against all odds, he twice overcame personal childhood devastation to become the beautiful soul whose passing caused people to cry openly, even in the grocery store. If only he could have lived to see how much they loved him. My jeweled butterfly for 33 years, Michael was the iridescent light shining on the copper of an antique saxophone in the Easter sun or through a church's stained glass window. He was a prism refracting white light into the color spectrum Vib Gior, violet, indigo blue, green, yellow, orange, red. Friends said, Anita without Michael is unfathomable. The last TV program we watched together was Cosmos, hosted by Neil deGrasse Tyson and written by the late Carl Sagan's equally brilliant wife, Anne Druyan. They explained we are all made of star stuff. That's where everyone on Earth originated, the stars. If only we would act like it. The next poem I wrote is called Drive. It's for American men on Valentine's Day. Working my way around a map of the world as a beautiful young woman in London on her own, I was often asked, who were the best lovers? American men, I'd say. They're the most experienced. Much of that experience was acquired as testosterone-fueled teenagers in the back seat of cars. Off to a jackrabbit start, accelerating and careening around corners, they tore up the track with internal combustion and rocketing pistons. What a thrill ride! 4 on the floor, blew the doors off, heart racing, climbed to the finish line. These encounters were built for speed, and sadly, there was no slowing for curves when the driver was high. The first time I saw a brand new Maserati, sterling silver work of art gleaming in the Silicon Valley sun, I got it. Cars are chick magnets designed to drive girls wild. But 007, nobody does it better, James Bond, didn't need the Aston Martin. He wooed women with smoldering looks, soft touches, and sensual kisses. Watching very handsome American actor Ryan Gosling in the 2011 movie Drive expertly handle the stick shift of his bomber getaway car, I realized how much I admired a man who was in control of his stick. Guys, if you really want to avoid treacherous tailspins in life, always keep control of your stick. And the secret to having a happy love life is to choose a woman who's in control of her stick. Then you'll both avoid roadblocks, U-turns, stop signs, or crashes that total your wheels. And you won't have to put on the brakes as you cruise to ecstasy. Rev your engines, vroom vroom. And the final poem I wrote for Valentine's Day is called 100 Million Votes. 100 million votes. 100 million votes. Whisper it woman to woman and man to man. Chant it, will it into being. Shout it as a group until every eligible voter in America makes it real. Our first woman president of the United States in 2016. Almost 100 years since white women got the vote in 1920, and 50 years since women of color did too in 1965. Even black men got the vote many decades before us in 1870 with the 15th Amendment. God knows it's our turn. We don't want a mandate. We want a woman date. Well, not a landslide, a woman slide for every American woman and every other girl and woman worldwide. And let's make it a double victory with a woman VP as well. Men, show us your gratitude, your respect, your belief we are your equals. Look your wives and daughters in the eye with love and tell them why you wouldn't vote for a woman president. If it's one thing men have taught us, it's that if you don't ask, you don't get. So we're asking for it all, the 100 million votes cast in the last presidential election. Men are also fond of telling women there will be consequences if we don't follow orders. Well, if we don't get our double presidential victory, I hereby give permission for every woman and girl to take the next day off to rest and recharge. I did not say we won't spend money. We will just spend it on ourselves, and everyone will see how valuable our contribution is to society. Every man is born of woman. Your flesh and blood and breath of life came from ours. So I need 3 promises from men. Number 1, police yourselves and other men and boys to honor rather than abuse women and girls. Number 2, stay out of women's issues and let us control our own bodies. Number 3, free the last great group of slaves by supporting an underground railroad to rescue abused women and girls. You do this, and you'll be the heroes of a happy home, and we'll take care of the House, the White House, and House of Congress. Thank you. This is Anita LaRaia. Happy Valentine's Day.